I'm on a mission to tell as many people as possible, if you're applying to a job that you should be applying to, you're getting through that scan. You need to write for the person reading your resume, the human being. If you focus on just like keyword optimization, your resume is not going to make any sense. You're just going to get the same generic junk that everyone else is using. You have to just write for the person reading it. Welcome to Next Job Now,
the podcast where we help you get your next job
right now. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Greg Langstaff, a certified resume strategist, and I've helped thousands of people to get new jobs.
And I'm Jeff, and I have a lot of questions about job searching. Today, we're diving into the role of AI in job searching.
When I think about AI, like on the hiring side, there's certain aspects that are like it is being used to manage, whether that's like through the applicant tracking systems, outreach to candidates. Some of that is being like automated. All the hiring managers I've spoken to about this are not currently at a place where they're trusting that kind of a software to like make selections for them. But sometimes it will rank order candidates as opposed to like throwing people out. So it's not as though you're not being read because of AI not liking your resume, but it could be a case where like maybe they have a bit higher expectation when they open the document because the AI has told them that you are good. Or if we're not sort of optimizing for that we maybe push down a little bit down the list and they're not reading us until they've read 30 other resumes.
You bring up an interesting point, and I think a common misconception about AI and ATS is that they are the same.
Yeah.
That all ATS systems is just AI. It's going through the filter and it's throwing me out, and it's not. Can you explain the difference? I know we've talked about what is an ATS scanner. What's the difference between ATS and AI?
Okay, yeah. So an applicant tracking system, we've said this before, it's a software that helps the HR teams and the hiring folks just manage all of the applications. It's storing the applications, it's storing your resumes, it's making like a file for every person who applies. It's like you can automate your like interview invitations, you can automate your like rejection emails to and like it's a great tool for just sorting and tracking, managing that whole process. One like small feature in an applicant tracking system that like the world is obsessed with is it scanning my resume to look for like keywords, look for experience, certain things like that. And like some of them have those features. Some of those features are AI driven, but it's not a robust system. And like I'm on a mission to tell as many people as possible, if you're applying to a job that you should be applying to, you're getting through that scan. You need to write for the person reading your resume, the human being. If you focus on just like keyword optimization, your resume is not going to make any sense. You have to just write for the person reading it.
So you mentioned that you see kind of two sides of AI in 2025. You just went through on the back end and the recruiter side of it.
Can I clarify something?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not saying don't put the keywords in your resume. It's great, like, again, those who are experimenting with that AI feature, maybe you get bumped up their list. They read your resume sooner. But more importantly, keyword in your resume is for when the person's looking at it and they're trying to see if you have the skills that are required for the job. So, like, still keyword your resume, but when you don't get hired or don't get an interview, don't blame some AI software. Like you weren't selling yourself appropriately.
Recruiters are using it to say, hey, these candidates seem to really fit the role, elevating the use of ATS between just filtering. Now it's suggesting. What's it on the other side for job seekers in 2025?
So on the job seeker side, like the biggest change I've seen is like just an overly, the job seekers at large, overly trusting that like a ChatGPT or something can write them an effective resume with like minimal prompts, minimal like critical thinking. I have no problem if you're using ChatGPT or some other AI to like help you wordsmith, to help you fine tune it. But you can't let it do the thinking for you.
Mm.
Like that because it's going to end up looking exactly the same as the everyone else who's writing it with AI. I know exactly what it looks like, how it writes at this point. I can spot it from a mile away, and the hiring managers are going to see, oh, I've seen that phrasing 500 times before. This is an AI written thing. And like, so that's my biggest thing. Is like we're putting too much trust into it, and we've stopped like putting an effort into the actual writing.
In your opinion, how should we approach using AI to help us get a job?
I think like it's like a nice tool to like bounce thoughts off of, to make sure that your critical thinking is also matched with like some outside thoughts. Like treat it like you're talking to someone who maybe knows the industry or like is giving you advice. Absolutely. Let me speak more practically on that.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to see someone like putting their old resume into ChatGPT and say, can you update this, make it sound more impressive, and then just like taking what you get. But like a great way to go about it is to say, hey, I at my last job, I did this thing, this project. It was really like it involved like all these different people. We had this budget, we achieved this amount. Can you write that into a nice bullet point? Like that's a good way to use it for like the writing process, but you have to be thinking like, what are the impressive things that I've done?
What do you think is at risk when we don't take that effort?
It's not going to prompt you to think about like the skills that you're missing, the accomplishments you're not showcasing. Because what I like to do when I'm talking through these things with my clients is like, I'll really like read the job posting, understand what they're looking for, and then kind of like help to like dig into their past and see where they've accomplished stuff that's like super relevant to the job they're applying to. So like if you ask your AI tool to like look at the job posting and try to help you think through that stuff, like that's a good way to use it. But just to say like, I'm applying for this job, make my resume look good for that, like you're just going to get the same generic junk like, that everyone else is using.
Yeah, and I feel like if you put in your resume and a job description and say it, like it probably will embellish.
Yeah,
and make up a lot that you haven't done
to
make sure that you are a good candidate for the role. So there's a big risk, I think, in just putting it in there and trusting it too much. Like I don't think we're at the point where we can trust it like that. If someone decides to say, hey, I'm going to use AI to help write my resume, what are the mistakes that for them to avoid?
First off, if you need help with writing your resume with AI, check out my ebook, the ChatGPT Resume, which is available on my website, greglangstaff.com. And like that's full of all the prompts that like I recommend. And it has some mistakes to avoid as well. And some of the main ones that are coming to mind are like, look out for generic statements, because it's not gonna know enough about you necessarily to just like spit out something you specific that makes you look impressive. It might give like a bunch of just responsibility overviews instead of like diving into your accomplishments. And it's also going to use a bunch of like really generic buzzwords that I know we're going to talk about a little bit. But like there's like 7 or 8 words that come to mind.
You can go for it. What are those dead giveaways?
Okay.
That someone has used AI.
Okay. So words that I've only ever seen pretty much in a ChatGPT resume and never written by a human. Pioneered, orchestrated, championed, meticulous, helm. If your cover letter has the word helm in it or realm, They are written by ChatGPT. I can tell you.
AI like ChatGPT they write like a professional writer, so they correctly use M dashes,
Oh
which
yeah.
we don't use in our regular life.
And it's like visually, it's the big long dash,
It's the
right?
long dash followed by another long dash, and anything within that is kind of a sidebar to what we're talking about, or like an
Yeah.
example. And it's so often it will use that because it's such a easy way to break down information as a reader. My teacher friends will, how they identify if a student has used AI to generate their essay is ask them to retype it in front of them because they don't know where the big dash button is on a keyboard. So it's a giveaway that you didn't type this.
Yeah.
Because you don't even know how to do that button.
Yeah. Another thing, like I noticed that it does, if you ever say you use it for like your cover letter or something in like paragraph form, is like it'll write what I call like inside out sentences. So like, a passionate, dedicated marketing professional has brought me to become like this. Well, I don't know. I can't do it off the top of my head, but it's like it just starts talking, and you're like, what? And then it gets to the point. I have one more. I think people miss this one because when like clients send me their resumes that they aren't happy with that are AI written often, it'll be like in a resume bullet point, like I did this thing demonstrating these skills. So like, I planned this massive 60,000 person event demonstrating adept budget management and people leadership. And I'm like, no one would ever say I did this and therefore I have these skills. So like you can even change that to just say you like utilizing these skills. Like people talk like that. Like I did this, I achieved this by utilizing these skills. I know not everyone's like a strong writer, and it's okay to like use AI to write this stuff for you, but you got to be the editor. Like you need to be saying like, that's not really accurate, or I don't like the way you said that. Let's be quicker, be more professional, write more briefly. Like we got to line by line edit this thing, and you can use it to like help with that. But yeah.
Do you think it has a future concern, like ethical concerns around bias through algorithm or automatic adding to the narrative of automatic rejections?
It could. I mean, yeah. I can't say I've like super looked into like the long term future of where AI is going. But yeah, I could see that happening.
Do you see AI solving any issues? Could it provide feedback with an automatic rejection? So like why your application didn't move on, and like instead of that, or is that opening up like legal issues like of this is why we didn't move forward with you and here's a reason?
I could see companies being a little hesitant because like whenever I've ever heard of someone like giving out like feedback, it's like they're very weary of opening themselves up to then getting into a debate about whether or not that's accurate and whether I should now have another chance at this job. So I don't know that companies would like want to offer that, even though it's like useful service for us.
Yeah, like I wish we could use it, or maybe that's something that we could do at home as a way to use it to say, hey, I applied to this job. Here's my resume. Here's the job. Like, why didn't I make it through? Because I feel like a lot of people are concerned. They're like, I got ghosted. I'm not making it through.
But like, show it to someone who knows that industry. Like, because we're not there yet where like AI is just like reliable. Like how many times have you asked it for something and the response has been like inaccurate or like nonsensical? So I don't want people getting like hung up on feedback that's not maybe there. And if you ask like, what could I have done better? It's always going to find something.
And now I see a lot of like websites that say, submit your resume. We can score it to see how good it is.
Be careful with those, because like I very much condone like critical thinking about whether or not a resume is good. And like, it's great to think, why am I getting rejected? What adjustments can I make? But a lot of those websites that are like scoring your resume for free, especially if it's free, those are typically what's called a lead magnet, which is like I'm generating interest from you to purchase some sort of resume writing service or product that I offer, and like they're very incentivized to tell you your resume is bad. In fact, I've never once heard of one of these free resume scanning tools to ever say a resume was good, because there goes your lead. This person needs a good resume. You sell a product or service that provides them a good resume. If you tell them their current resume is good, like you don't close the sale. So like, yeah, I've had customers or clients of mine who've like gotten jobs, and we've done that, and it said the resume was bad. So like, you have to be really careful about that. And again, like, nothing's going to beat showing it to a person who knows the industry.
Before we started the episode, I checked out the ebook that you mentioned, the ChatGPT resume, which is an ebook that you have available on your website. And in there, you do a good job of like explaining some of the challenges that you might face. Like one thing that you mentioned in your ebook was you can't ask too much at once, because it's going to get confused and it's not going to output exactly what you're looking for. And the way that you structured your ebook was like a series of prompts. Talk to me about what is in a good prompt.
I think like a good prompt provides like context. So you would always want to say like what you're trying to achieve with the thing that it's writing for you, whether that's attaching the job posting and saying I'm applying to this job to give it the context, telling it how you want to come across. Is it professional? Am I focusing on leadership? Am I focusing on strategy? And then like most importantly, like we want to give it lots of detail to work with. You can't just say like I was like a sales director. Like we need to know what product you're selling, who your clients are, what's your industry, what have your sales numbers been, like all that stuff goes in to the prompt. And then you might even go as far as to say like make it 38 words or something. Now, I have not found that ChatGPT specifically is like amazing at sticking to a word count you ask it to follow, but like that's all the stuff that goes in. And then you're going to read it, and I would hope you're like evaluating and maybe asking for tweaks and changes to get it where you want to be. Like that's what's going to turn into good resume content. Same with like your professional summary, which we have like prompts for that as well. Like it needs a lot of context. You can't just say I'm a sales director, I'm an accounting manager, because it's going to spit out generic stuff that's like might look and sound better than what you had before, but will not stand out versus other strong candidates in that field.
I pulled the prompt from your ebook, and I thought I could read it out, and then we could talk about the value of that prompt and how we could use it. You've created a prompt that says, based on the jobs I provided you, can you please provide a list of the 25 most important skills required to do these jobs well? Please make each skill 1 to 3 words long and focus more on hard skills over soft skills.
And I always say to ask for like more skills than you need, because you're not going to have every skill that it tells you. But yeah, that's like a great foundation. That's a great way to use it to get you thinking. And sure, you can word for word put some of those skills into your key skills section, for example, but it's more useful for like to think, okay, these are things I need to talk about having done in my bullet points.
So why do you say focus more on hard skills over soft skills?
Oh, just because everyone has like if you think through soft skills, people are usually talking about like teamwork, adaptability, problem solving. And as we say, those are skills every adult has, or at least can say they have.
They can say they have them.
Yeah. But they don't make you stand out as a candidate. And like when we're reading these resumes, we're looking for like, can you do the things that you do in this job? Can you sell dental equipment? Have you ever used like, can you program with C#? Like we want to know the things you can do, not like your ability to function in a group. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week.